Well, Tewatia did a Tewatia. 2 years ago, we all remember what he did in Sharjah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Straight Bat with Gulf News and Messi Cricket UAE. That is Anis Sarjan. And what yet another thrilling finish at the IPL. Today, joining me and Anis today is Clinton, a Punjab supporter. I'm sure he must be pretty disheartened. What a day for him to join. And we have Gautam, the senior associate editor of Gulf News. Before we get into it, Anis, tell us about what happened with that last ball finish.
Hi, Sham. Hello, Mr. Gautam. Hello, Punjab fan. And hello to all the beautiful people of the Gulf News. Well, Tewatia did a Tewatia. 2 years ago, we all remember what he did in Sharjah. It was the West Indian bowler, Sheldon Cottrell. And this time, once again, it was the West Indian bowler, but this time it was Odean Smith. And they say, if you want to dial 6, call Tewatia. And he did not once, twice, and one and match, which probably Gujarat had lost it. So salute to Tewatia.
I don't think we have seen a match where the last two balls went for sixes in any tournament for that matter. Have we, Gautam?
I cannot recall offhand. I mean, if you remember that Matthew Wade innings in the World Cup, I mean, did he do something like that? But I don't think the last two balls, Sham. Yeah, in the semi-final, I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, not definitely not the last two balls. Yeah. Okay, Clinton, I know this was. Tell us about your heartbreak.
Well, no words really, but it goes to show that margins in cricket are so important. It was 13 from 2, and Odean Smith threw that overthrow, and Tewatia got on strike, and then he hit 2 sixes in 2 balls. So really disappointing. But yes, Punjab never really looked in the game all through. I mean, when Shubman Gill and the other batsman Sai were batting, I think it was a dominant performance all through. It was only because of Arshdeep and Chahar that we got back into the game, and then really disappointing, shattering. And yeah, I mean, being a Punjab fan, we are now used to finishes like this, wherein the 2 points are there right in front of you, and it just gets snatched away right in front of your face. So deja vu feeling, but yeah, absolutely shattered.
Yeah, we get your feeling. But Anis, 19 required of the last over. Did you at any moment think that Gujarat will win at that point?
Honestly, no. To be very honest, even though Pandya was on there, but when Pandya got out, it became very clear that no, now I don't think Punjab will lose this match. But as Clinton mentioned, Punjab has this habit of gifting away games from a winning position time and again. At least 2 games against Rajasthan Royals come to my mind, once while chasing and once while defending. But this time again, as he mentioned, that overthrow. Who knows, had he not done that overthrow, maybe Odean Smith would have had more confidence bowling that last ball. Because when you know in the back of your mind that only 6 runs is required, you end up bowling that ball in the slot, and that's what happened. And I'm afraid Odean Smith paid the price for that overthrow, and Punjab lost these 2 crucial points. Feel sorry for them.
Yeah, T20 is a game about small margins, and something like an overthrow can change the mindset and the match. No, let's look back at how the match unfolded. Pandya's captaincy, Gautam, I've seen that Shastri even mentioned that Pandya's name should be added to the list of aspiring India captains. What do you make of it, based on his leadership in the last few games for Gujarat?
You can't really say that on the basis of 2 games. I mean, when things go your way. But I mean, what he was possibly trying to do was, he was trying to act in all 3 capacities. I mean, he was coming in at number 4. Today also he came. I mean, fortunately there was that wonderful 101 run partnership. And as long as he was there, as Anis said, I mean, there was hope. And, the bowling had been a revelation. So was the catching. I mean, that catch at the deep was disallowed for, initial this thing he had stepped over. One has to wait. I mean, you cannot say that he's a contender, Sham, at this point. It's good to see him gradually pushing himself in reckoning, proving his fitness for the World Cup later this year. That's about it.
Yeah, his fitness looks all right because he's opening the bowling and clocking 140, bats at number 4, all looks good. Yes, like you said, too early to make a call on captaincy. Whether it's captaincy material, we will find out as the tournament progresses. Yes, Punjab fan Clinton. Again, here's a question for you. Guests must be thrilled with Livingston's performance because Anis and I used to crib about his non-performance, but last 2 matches, Livingston has really set the stadium on fire. Tell us more about him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if not for his innings, I think Punjab wouldn't have even crossed 150 in this match as well. I think.
Yes, there was a scare that if Pandya had taken that catch, then
Yes.
he would have been less by 44 runs.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing that we've got to see from this Punjab team is they're not aware of the match situation. They just go for. I mean, Rashid Khan had 6 balls to bowl. Shah Rukh Khan was there, and Livingston. I mean, even if they had played out a maiden over, they could have gone after the remaining pace bowlers because they're good at hitting pace, and you'd not go after someone like a Rashid Khan. But soon after Livingston got out, Shah Rukh Khan tried to sweep Rashid Khan and gets out LBW. So I question the tactics, the logic. I don't know how. What is the attitude? I mean, I just read Rajapaksa's interview wherein he said they're going to aim to score 200, 220, and in the bargain, if they get all out for 75, they'll take it. But I mean, you need to assess the situation. You need to assess how you are at that point, and the way Gujarat battled today, they were picking which bowler to attack and paced their innings beautifully. I think if not for Arshdeep and Chahar, the match would have gotten over in the 18th or 19th over.
I get what you said about that Rashid Khan, because the other day we saw when Dinesh Karthik was going great guns, there was one particular over from Chahal, and they played him out. And very smart cricket, I thought. That is perhaps was lacking here. Coming back to Rashid Khan, since you mentioned Rashid Khan, and is this guys have not just sorted out Rashid Khan as yet, because Rashid Khan has been playing the IPL for so long, and he is still a tough nut to crack.
Very true, Sham. Like Clinton hit the nail, the game awareness was lacked by Punjab. But when you talk about Rashid Khan, now it's been the 4th or the 5th year, batsmen are still not able to find him out. Very rarely does he go for runs. I think the maximum sometimes he goes for 40 or 45 in an odd game. But otherwise, today, if you have to see, he brought his team back into the game by picking 2 big wickets. First of Livingstone at the boundary, and then Shah Rukh Khan. I don't know what went through his head. Okay, you want to live by the sword, die by the sword. But when you know that this is a smart bowler, just play him out. You had 3 overs. Imagine had they not scored 30, 33 runs by the tail, you would have been folded for 160, 165. Yes, you need to play attacking cricket, play like that England gungo cricket. But sometimes I've always said there is a thin line between sensible or carefree cricket than careless cricket. And I'm afraid Punjab are playing careless cricket.
Absolutely. They could have even finished around 150 if it was not for the late innings bravado there. Okay, now Titans got out to a flyer, 31 runs between Wade and Gill in 3 overs. I mean, they sure did get off to a flyer. But what has been really a revelation for the Titans has been Shubman Gill's form. For the last 2 matches, we've been seeing a completely different Gill. Kautam, what happened there?
I think he has made a very conscious effort that there will be less of dot balls. I mean, last match he got something like 84. There were 6 dot balls. Today also, and when you are such a classy performer, I mean, the thing is, how good a batsman is always determined by his ability to pick up the gaps, and that's exactly what he managed to do. He was also not averse to hitting the big shots. So these are some of the changes that he has brought in his game, and I mean, it looked as if he had a kind of point to prove, and that's what has come about very nicely. I mean, normally maybe he was tiring a bit somewhere towards the closing stages, but we cannot say that in his pursuit of possibly his first 3 figures there was, he cut some corners. He masterminded the chase really beautifully.
Yeah, he anchored it so well. And what was pertinent is he is not a six-hitter. He just had 1 6 in that entire innings. Rest of the scoring was done purely through boundaries. So which is quite
Some 10
heartening.
or
So
11
you really
boundaries.
don't have to have the big shots. That is what Gill showed for at least for me today. Now, Anisa, coming quickly back to you again. We've been seeing so many youngsters. I mean, this week, time and again, every time a new youngster pops up, we discuss that. Today we saw Sai Sudarshan, a 20-year-old from Tamil Nadu. What a revelation he was. What do you make of him?
Well, like you mentioned, this year's IPL has thrown up a lot of youngsters. You saw Ayush Badoni, cool and calm, and today Sudarshan. And there's one guy, Abhinav Mohra Nehra, somebody who's also played well. So all these youngsters are showing the temperament and playing knocks, which are crucial. That partnership of 100 at one time must have looked slow from Sudarshan's side, but it gave the platform. And to be very honest, I'm so happy because Gujarat won. Because had Gujarat lost, people would have pointed fingers at this partnership. Oh, this was a slow partnership. But sometimes, as Clinton mentioned, they were picking out the right bowlers, and getting out at the 96 by that our good guy Shubman Gill. It just by a whisker, had he hit over the top, it would have been a boundary. So these are the sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But you have to give credit to Gujarat Titans. And I want to point out one thing about the captaincy, like the point was taken. Even though 3 games he's been street smart, he's won 3 games, but he's been thinking ahead of the rest, which is what I like about it. With due respect to other captains.
All right, Clinton, Arshdeep has been a revelation from the last season, and he's continued to impress this year also. Tell us something more about Arshdeep.
Very, very, very underrated bowler.
Because why I asked you the
Yeah.
specific question was over 18, he considered only 5 runs, which is what pushed it into the 19th, pushed it into the last over actually.
Exactly, and he's been a revelation ever since we picked him back in 2019. He's just grown as a bowler. I think even last year he executed really well under pressure. If you remember the first game against Rajasthan when Sanju Samson had gone berserk and he bowled at last over under pressure. Ever since then he's very underrated, as I said, because we are always talking about the previously it used to be the Rahuls, the Gales, the Puran, but Arshdeep used to be one person who would always be under the radar and who would never go noticed. But yeah, that you pointed it out, he's been amazing. His death bowling has just got better, and it's only a matter of time until he plays for India.
And if you remember, he is one of the four players retained by Punjab actually. So I was in fact surprised. Why would they retain? They could have retained anybody else. I'm sure now Arshdeep is repaying them for that faith in him. So good job to him. And like I said, big fish shortly. I mean, he's been a 19 player for India as well. So good show there. And before we can't say enough of Tewatia. And like Ani said earlier, I think that is the difference between win and loss today. Uh, Before we wind up, Anis, let us know about the competition and a competition where most of the predictions have been going all right.
Oh, yes, to all the Gulf News fans, make sure to log on to our page and predict the winner. I know predicting a winner in IPL is very, very difficult. But if you're spot on, you walk away with a magnificent apparel, which is a track, t-shirt, and a cap. And go and support your team and make sure to be logged on to your favorite page, Gulf News.
Yes, the almost a daily ritual now for us. That is the prediction for our viewers. And here's the prediction for us. Tomorrow is CSK playing Sunrisers Hyderabad. Your prediction, Gautam?
Yeah, I mean, see, tomorrow you've got 2 teams. I was just looking at it. CSK playing Sunrisers Hyderabad, Mumbai playing RCB. These two, these two champions with best record, no
points.
wins, no points. Yeah, but I would, like in a CSK SRH match, I would be inclined to go to a CSK tomorrow. I mean, this streak cannot continue.
Clinton, what will be your pick?
I'll go with SRH. CSK look dead and buried.
Why would you say that?
Nothing seems
I
to
mean,
be clicking for them.
it's not like Sunrisers have done anything extraordinary to deserve to be picked.
Yeah.
Sunrisers have a better team, I would say. CSK have gone for all their the players who played well for them last season, but nothing seems to be going right for them. And when you go on a roll of losing, you just keep losing. So, but I would want CSK to win, but I feel Sunrisers will win tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. Like when things go wrong, it just keeps happening. It's very difficult to get back. Anis, do you agree with Clinton's assertion that CSK will continue to slide?
No, it's very odd. Honestly, it's very hard to say that one team is going to win and one team is not. There are a lot of surprises, but my heart and mind both says CSK. We have to wait and watch. And like Gautam said, this streak can't continue. We'll have to see because like CSK, SRH has not done anything great. So I'll back the experience of CSK to beat SRH.
Yeah, my turn now. I completely agree with you on that because CSK is not a bad team. Of course, they've been they have lost the what do you call the trick to win, but they've been winning for so many years in 4 titles. And yeah, here they have a new captain and a side which is struggling to settle down. But they have their experience. But if you look at SRH, they have not done anything impressive. Like Clinton made a valid point that when you start losing, it's difficult to stop the rot. But I think if CSK doesn't stop the rot, they are in for real trouble. This now or never. This could be the turning point for them. So if they don't win this, they will go into a tailspin. So that's it for today, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our viewers and all of you, especially to you for being our special guest today. Thank you, Anis. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gautam. And all our readers, please log on to our gulfnews.com for the latest updates and our social media channels as well. See you tomorrow. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.